I actually piloted last week a cruise in a snowstorm and almost a whiteout. Almost. Not quite, but almost. People absolutely loved it. They couldn't see a thing. They couldn't see. I said over here in downtown, that could have been Chicago, Illinois, and no one would have ever known the difference. Um, and I was worried that when we got back that people were going to say, well, we were disappointed we couldn't see anything. Most people got off the boat and said, I am going to talk about this cruise for a long time. We've had my fair share of talking to someone who did not like it on the other side of the phone. But you know what? I invited them back and I said, you obviously didn't get what we said that you would get. And because of that, you're coming back and I'll show you that we can do better. And that's been our motto from the very, very, very beginning.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we have a special guest, Alan Bernstein. He's a senior leader at BB Riverboats, one of the most well-known riverboat hospitality and event companies operating on the Ohio and Cincinnati rivers. Alan,
That is I.
yeah, you're welcome to give us a little bit more background, how you started your company and what kind of services your company is providing.
Well, we started back in 1978, 77, 78 to put together a public boat cruise company in Cincinnati. We were in the restaurant business. We had several restaurants, more on land than water, but we did have a water-based restaurant. And that restaurant's logo was Experience Riverboat Dining. And people thought that that meant that the boat would go out and, see the river. And obviously it did not. It didn't move. It was placed right in front of Riverfront Stadium at that time. That had been built back in the early 70s. And we got enough calls about the restaurant wanting to go on a cruise that we thought maybe a cruise line would be something that we could get into. To be honest with you, I knew nothing about boats. I knew they had an engine and the propeller turned and that's how it moved, but that was about it. And my father said, Alan, I'm gonna set you up with some people that will teach you and mentor you in trying to get a business started. Remembering back in the early 70s, the Ohio River was not the greatest place to be because it had been polluted for years and years and years by the industries up above us, all the way to Pittsburgh. My dad believed that the river was going to come back, and he was right. It came back in a pretty significant way. They stopped polluting the river, and BB Riverboats was born in late 1978, early 1979, and our first cruise was March of 1980. It took us about a year to get it off the ground, and we started booking charters and public cruises, and that's how it all happened. People go to Harvard Business School for years trying to learn how to start a business. My father always said to me that business is 95% luck and the other 5% is hard work. If you can do that, um, if you could invent the internet, you'd be a trillionaire. But I was not of the aptitude. The experience of just hooking up with you is a good indication that I was not going to invent the internet. But my dad said, Alan, if you work hard and you get some breaks, you'll do just fine. And I can't tell you how true he was. And he was a taskmaster, master. Excuse me. He was an Army World War II vet, and he believed in the Army system, and that's a lot of the way he trained me. He said, "Do it," and you said, "Yes, sir," and you would salute, and away you'd go. There wasn't a whole lot of conversation early on, but it became. We are now. I can't believe I've been on the river since 1970, but I have been, and I'm going to celebrate my 55th year here.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a long journey. Lots of
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, it really is, and I will say this to you because it's true. I don't know that I would change a whole lot, even with all the bad things and the good things and the great things and the experiences that I've had, that if I had to do it all over again, that I wouldn't do it the same way because, to be honest with you, it was great. And my father, not uncharacteristically, because I think he had success in his mind. He was not afraid of failure. So he never really discussed the failure side. It was only the upside and only the let's do this and we can do it and you can do it. So that's how it started. And it was not a Harvard Business School thesis that got this thing moving along, believe me. It was just the opposite of a Harvard business class start. It, it was when my father said hard work, he meant hard work. Sometimes 16, 17 hours a day. And days off were not in the future until there was time for a day off.
Oh wow.
I
Same as
still
Elon
work.
Musk. He
Yeah.
lived
I,
he lived in a factory basically to success. And 17-hour days is a lot.
Well, it
A
is,
lot.
and he expected it every day if we needed to do it. So I would tell you if I had to train a young, starting out young man that wanted to do boats, I don't know that I would change a lot of what he taught me. It was all very, very good stuff. And even today, I work six in the season, 6.5 days a week. I do take Sunday afternoon and evening with my family. My wife and I've been married 54 years, and we've raised two great kids who are both now in our business. It truly will continue on.
So you're looking to pass on to your kids. That's amazing. What's something about running your events in the water that most people never think about?
Well, a boat ride is a unique experience because it moves. You can go to a river restaurant and the scenery never changes. The uniqueness of the river is that the Cincinnati area is a very beautiful part of the Ohio River. It's lined on both sides of the river. The Kentucky side and the Ohio side are lined with beautiful homes and trees. It's a very pretty area. You come down from the residential areas into downtown, and it's a very nice skyline. There's the Cincinnati baseball team stadium. There's the football stadium. There's all the big buildings, Procter and Gamble and American Financial, Kroger, all have a very large presence in Cincinnati. And as you go down through the city and then you start going down the river, you get into the industrial side, which is where they load coal and sand and gravel and concrete. So they get the beauty of the upper part of the river, the beauty of downtown, and then the working part of Cincinnati as we go down the river. So we like to tell everybody they're going to see the best, the prettiest, and then they're going to see the industrial part of Cincinnati because obviously the city needs, well, salt for the roads in the wintertime. They need sand and gravel to build concrete buildings, and they need steel, and they need all the things. Our power plants are coal fired. So they need coal, and they also get a chance to see the industry that provides all that in the towing industry. We're on the passenger side. The towing industry is on the industrial side. So we pass several towboats usually during a trip, and they get to see a lot of what we are pointing out in the commentary as we go past the beautiful homes, and then we come downtown, and then we get around to the industrial part, and most people are very pleased with our opportunity to show them how really Cincinnati is. The residential side, the downtown business side, and then the industrial part is all a part of our tour.
That's a wholesome experience. I mean, if anybody's traveling to Cincinnati, that is the trip to take because you get to see everything from the water and a good setting as well. Plus, you got some food
Well,
or it's an event. It's great.
yeah, we think that it's the most diverse way to see it. You see it of all the different things, and it changes constantly. Most people will eat their meal and then they're outside watching the few hours of the scenery or listening to music. During the spring, summer, and fall, it's a beautiful time to go out on the deck and experience it. We try to get them up out of their seats for those that want to do it. If people want to spend all day, all evening, all trip at their seat, that's fine too. We have a nice menu. We certainly have things, bottles of wine, and all the things that music to entertain them. So yeah, I think if you're coming to Cincinnati, you've never been here, I think if you asked anybody else in the city, they would say BB Riverboats is probably the way to see it.
That's amazing. What kind of events take place on those boats?
Okay, well, we have all kinds. It's interesting. We have done many funerals.
Oh, wow.
People who love the river, people who we're not permitted to put ashes in the river, but a lot of people come down and do. Um,
I was
I
about to
obviously
ask. Yeah.
we can't control what
Jeez.
they want to do, but we tell them straight up that the EPA and the Coast Guard does not allow us to do that, but they do, and that's fine.
At
All
least,
the way to corporate events. We did
at least
we
it's not bodies. It's just ashes.
uh, it's no, we don't let them throw bodies into the river. That we do, and we go all the way from that all the way to the corporate event. Procter and Gamble here in Cincinnati is a huge client of ours. Kroger is a huge client. American Financial. We do a lot of corporate entertaining, and those companies, including General Electric, which is all the aircraft engines are built here in Cincinnati. And General Electric has customers all over the world. And their favorite thing to do is to entertain their international customers on BB Riverboats. And they do that because it gives them an opportunity to see all the things I just said to you. It's a lot. We're busy. We're a growing company, and we employ a lot of people. This industry is not uh, it is not a robot or AI kind of a industry. This is people servicing people, getting them drinks, getting them a meal, all the things we have as a boat. You have to have deckhands and you have to have engineers, and you can only imagine all the things that go along with a boat operation. And then you can add all the difficulties of a restaurant operation on
Yeah.
top of that. And you need people to do that. So
Oh, yeah.
we're a people centric industry or product, and we train our people. We try we I'll tell you, training people today is a real challenge. And the simple thing, the reality is we try to train them to smile, look good,
Even if they're in
feel
pain.
good, and smell good.
Yeah.
Now, those sound to you very basic and very simple, and I can tell you from my perspective, it is very hard,
Wow.
and it is very complicated, and there are many people who are sent home because they're just not dressed or they're not groomed to the standard that we if you're out smoking a cigarette and you come in and you smell like a cigarette and you walk up to your table and you say, "Hi, my name is Alan, and I'm here to serve you," most people are going, "Oh my God, he stinks." And that's what happens. And how appetizing is it that you order a meal or you get a meal from somebody that doesn't smell good?
They should
It is
switch
just so
to
blatant.
vaping.
Well, that's why I'm telling you it's a challenge. And my daughter and son do a great job. They're a lot younger than I am, and they really do. I guess they can communicate more on their level. I just tell them you have to look good, feel good, smell good. You have to put a smile on your face and go to work. And that doesn't work. Their system, whatever it is, works better than mine. Anyway, our product is not difficult. We believe in our food service. We believe in the quality of food. We buy quality stuff. We're not buying at the food bank in Cincinnati our food. We buy from suppliers that have been our suppliers for years and years and years and years. We still have a supplier that we started with way back in the early 70s, and it's amazing that they sort of know what we are. So it's a little bit easier.
What were some of the biggest inflection points for the business?
Well, that's a really good question. It's sort of difficult to answer. We prided ourselves on quality. Our restaurants were higher end restaurants, so we were not at the lower end of the restaurant spectrum. Our restaurants were white tablecloth with service. Several of them had cooking at the table kind of service and things like that. So we came from a quality perspective. My father and mother. Now, my mother, I didn't mention my mother. I've only mentioned my father. My mother was a just tremendously talented cook, learning a lot of different things from a lot of different countries, different cultures. She was an incredibly talented lady, and her food was spot on. So I think the things that moved us into a better light, I guess, was that we were not the cheapest restaurant in town, but our quality and our standards were high, and we became a reputation of a company that would do that. And BB Riverboats on its own had its own sort of riverboat style. And I don't want to give everybody a lecture on history, but riverboats started our country in the Western movement from the East Coast inland.
Go
And
West, young men.
that's right. Go West, young men. And when they got to St. Louis, they thought they had found the West Coast. And that was not true, obviously. 1811, Lewis and Clark embarked on an expedition to find the West Coast, and they did. And not only did they find it, but they came back and told their story. So in riverboat tradition, back when the riverboat was the only way to travel, you couldn't go by rail, by air, by car. You couldn't use a horse, and you could horseback across the country or a buggy.
Not everybody made it.
No, very few
Oh,
actually made it.
Jesus. Yeah.
Indians and
Diseases. Yeah.
weather and all
Yeah.
kinds of things. Diseases, but I think style might have a lot to do with our success. Uh, we love entertaining people. It's a real pleasure when you do a great job. It's not so good when you don't do a good job. And listen, we've had my fair share of talking to someone who did not like it on the other side of the phone. But you know what? I invited them back and I said, you obviously didn't get what we said that you would get. And because of that, you're coming back, and I'll show you that we can do better. And that's been our motto from the very, very, very beginning. My mother dealt with all the complainers, and she did a great job. She knew how to do that. But I think our upward movement was all about what we were and what we wanted to do, and we still do it today. We pride ourselves on trying to do the best every time the boat goes out. And we have two big boats. I should mention that the Bella Cincinnati is 1,000 passenger boat,
Oh,
and
wow.
the River Queen is a 500 passenger boat, and we have loaded both of them to the gills. So we could do those kinds of things. It's obviously the weather plays a big role in that. If we had to pack them all into the interior of the boat, it's not as nice as if you can go out and enjoy the open air. But we work very hard at what we do. We really do.
How old are those boats, by the way? Just out of
Um,
curiosity.
well, boats, it's sort of funny. You would think that modern day boats are the best boats to go on. And
Probably not. Too
yeah,
thin of a plastic, and everything is plastic. Thin metal.
yeah. And this is both of these boats are old riverboat style boats. And I mean, obviously, we have all the things. We have electronic boards, and we have TVs and things on the boat. But generally speaking, when you walk on the boat, you're walking back in the
History.
1800s, or we want you to feel like you're walking back into the 1800s. And I think we do a very nice job. We present a clean boat all the time. A lot of people say, why don't you modernize? And I said, well, that's not our product. We're not a modern day product. Now, we serve modern day food. So you're going to get a delicious prime rib and you're going to get all the things that you would get at a nice restaurant, but your experience has to be within the old style riverboat that we are. And I think after people are told that, they enjoy themselves very much.
I'm assuming those boats are diesel powered, right? They're
They
not
are
coal powered.
diesel powered. We are
Yeah.
not. There's only a few steamboats left in the river system, and oddly enough, we had both of them here at a festival just about a month ago. Now we had the Natchez from New Orleans, and we had the Belle Louisville from Louisville, Kentucky, which is just downriver from us about 130 miles. So we had both steamboats in Cincinnati for a festival that we called Tall Stacks, and we invite visiting boats to come to Cincinnati and line the public landing as if we were in a picture of the 1800s when you would see steamboats lined
Yeah.
across the riverfront, cargo and people, and it was a very busy place at that time. So we are not steam powered, we are diesel powered, but believe me, the diesel power is as much a challenge as steamboats, so it doesn't make it any easier, believe me.
Well, I mean, at least you preserve the actual history and aesthetic of it. You don't need to go full aesthetic of
Yeah,
1800s of
well,
steam. It makes
yeah,
perfect sense.
again, I don't wanna give you a history lesson, but a lot of steamboats blew up because the captain needed more steam or whatever it was. Maybe the engineer made a mistake. I can't speak to that, but today, the steamboats are very modern day, replicas, although the engines are still old. The engines in the Belle of Louisville were, manufactured in 1889.
Oh, wow.
1889.
150 years.
Yeah, and it runs like it ran when it was first put together.
Is it wheel powered or you got propellers? I mean,
No,
those
no,
boats.
it's a paddle wheel, and the steam, steamboats were pretty simple. A lot of people go, "Oh, well, they're very complicated." They're more complicated today because of all the safety features
Yes.
that they have to have. But in the olden days, they all you had to do is build a fire, boil water, and you had steam and basic operating system. And as long as you have a fire, as long as you're boiling water, you got your propulsion. And believe me, it was a simple thing. Although
Yeah. You
building
might
a fire on a wood boat is not a very smart thing to do.
you might explode, but at
Yeah.
least
Oh,
you'll go
yeah.
somewhere,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and you might burn the boat down.
Yeah.
When you say build a fire on a wood boat, you go, who would be that stupid? But early on, they used wood, and there was plenty of that in the old days. Then they went to coal. They realized that coal burned much hotter than wood, and they could get a lot more steam, a lot more heat out of coal. And of course, that sort of polluted the air. So, in a modern day today, there's not a whole lot of black smoke on a steamboat.
They
There's
scrub it.
some. There's
They scrub
some,
it. Yeah. They scrub it all.
but not much. Again, there's only two boats like that left. So, but they are magnificent boats. And steamboat, a true steamboat, is a real marvel. The sound, the whistles, calliope, the experience of going. Both those boats allow people in their engine room because it's a real show to show them how it is done. Um, I go on Bella Louisville all the time. They're very good friends of ours, and I'm 74 years old, and I am still amazed of
74 years young.
young. There you go. Okay. I am amazed at the ability for those people to run their boat producing steam. It is, I tell everybody that goes to Louisville, you've got to go down and, if nothing else, visit them. Just walk on the boat and it's in perfect shape. They spend their whole lives keeping that boat in pristine condition.
That's amazing. Now I actually want to go and visit a boat.
There you go.
You
Well,
sold it.
New
That's it.
Orleans,
Sold.
I mean, a lot of people say, "Well, I'm going to New." I said, "Go down and get a ride on the Natchez. You will not be disappointed. I don't care how much it costs, whatever their price is. Pay it because it's worth it."
Yeah. Well, if I'll be visiting my girlfriends, I'll definitely check out your restaurant
There you
first,
go. There
your
you go.
floating restaurant, and then we can watch the steamboats, you know.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears here a little bit. Some of these questions might be cut out. It's not a problem. So what are the most complex operational challenges you deal with day to day?
Well, I think regulations, today's regulatory regime, everybody wants to protect passengers, and I'm number one on the list. But the regulators, we operate under all the federal guidelines for passenger boats, just like the airlines operate under the FAA. We operate under the Coast Guard, and those federal agencies don't mess around. They come on, they want to see the safety stuff. Do you do enough drills? Can your people do this? Can they? And we also operate under state regulations, and we also operate under city and county regulations. And to be honest with you, it's more than anybody can handle. It's a difficult environment because they are doing a job representing the people. We have a product that requires people to do in order for us to stay in business. And that's where the rub happens. And it's not a rub because we want to be safer than what anybody thinks. And sometimes that's very hard. And it's sometimes hard to see a regulator come down here and say, well, this is wrong. You got to do something different. So I would say the biggest challenge that our company faces are the different regulators. Most restaurants, for example, deal with a city, they deal with the Board of Health, they deal with fire department for fire safety and egress and all that stuff. And that in itself is fairly complicated, but now you multiply that by the state and then by the feds. And you can very quickly understand how that layering makes it very difficult. I don't know. I mean, you know what? If I can learn it, anybody in the world can learn it. And my father had a lot of confidence in me. I was not a great student. So I'm not an academic kind of guy. I'm a hard worker. You learn it by experience. You have something bad happen. Okay, what did we do and why did we have a bad result? That's the kind of guy I am. Academically, you would say, well, you didn't study your regulations and you didn't study this and that is not Alan Bernstein. Alan is the guy that goes in and does the work and produces whatever I am doing to make it happen. I'm not real knowledgeable in a lot of the things that you would think that I should be. Mechanical things for the engines. I have found that it's easier to hire a good mechanic that understands, knows it, loves it, and wants to do that rather than me getting my fingers dirty and trying to break down an engine or fix it to get it back running. I can't, number one, I can't do everything. And number two, if you want to do everything, you're not going to be good at much. You're going to be good at some things and not good at others. But I am a licensed captain. I've been a licensed captain since 1980. I have several different Coast Guard licenses. I can operate on the Ohio River, in the United States, big boats and little boats and tiny boats. So I've accomplished from a pilot standpoint all that I need to know. And I have, over the years, piloted all up and down the Mississippi, all up and down the Ohio, the Cumberland, the Tennessee. Oh my God, the amount of rivers I've been on is beyond description. But I don't consider myself a great pilot because I don't do it enough. Flying an airplane, once you understand what is involved, airplanes today sort of fly themselves. There are not boats that are driving themselves, nor do I think that's in the near future. It will
We're not
happen.
there yet. We're not, but we're getting there. We're
Well,
getting
we're getting there, but it's going to be a slow go before um, AI puts a pilot in a pilot house that can do everything when it happens or when it is supposed to happen. There's a lot to it. So, cars are starting to drive themselves. And if they can do that, I think they probably can. I'm told that a lot of airplanes fly themselves.
They did.
So,
Up until the plane when the plane needs to land, basically, or take off. That's manual
right,
for
right,
sure.
right, right, right. And when they get up there, they put it on autopilot and they
Yeah.
sit there and talk to each other.
Yeah.
So river
It's all
boats are
manual.
not that way.
Yeah, it's all
And
manual.
And now in an airplane, they don't interact with the customers other than boarding and disembarking. On our trip, they can come right into the pilot house. It's a part of the public space, and they can talk and say, "Hey, Captain, how you doing?" And how long have you been doing this? And what kind of boat? All kinds of things. So our pilots interact with the passengers for the length of the cruise, whatever it is. And I don't know how I got on piloting, but uh, we pride ourselves again on giving the customer the best experience they can have and still be safe and still be comfortable in the environment that they're in.
How does seasonality impact staffing, bookings, and planning?
That's a great question. Our season goes from March to December 31st, or I should say January 1st. So we have about 2.5 months where the boats are not busy, but we're open. We keep a boat always up and running, even in the middle of the winter, because our companies require it. A winter time is a good time for them to bring people into Cincinnati. And when they do that, they like to entertain them on BB Riverboat. So we keep a boat up and running even in the middle of a I was out I actually piloted last week a cruise in a snowstorm and almost a whiteout. Almost.
Well,
Not quite, but almost. People absolutely loved it. They couldn't see a thing. They couldn't
I
see
I
I
drove through
said
that
over
last
here
week.
downtown, that could have been Chicago, Illinois, and no one would have ever known the difference. Um, and I was worried that when we got back that people were going to say, well, we were disappointed we couldn't see anything. Most people got off the boat and said, I am going to talk about this cruise for a long time. I don't know. Now, of course, in the pilot house, we have all kinds of electronics, and it wasn't a problem for me, but I worried about what they thought. And when I tell you it was white, you could not see buildings. You could see some trees, and you could see the water up close, but basically, everything that I said could have been a total lie because they would never know the difference. Yeah,
I dro-
yeah,
yeah, I drove through that last week actually.
yeah, yeah. Well, you understand that.
Yeah. Can't see anything at all. Well, at least I got GPS. I'm not sure what you have. You probably have no navigations. You got sonar for the
Yeah,
not to bottom out. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. We have all the. I was not worried from a piloting standpoint. I knew right where I was and right where I was going and what traffic was out there and what we had to do to avoid any major traffic. So I was perfectly comfortable, and I really was wondering what everybody was going to say when we got back.
well,
So
I'm glad the
anyway,
reviews are positive. Yeah.
yeah.
What's been the hardest about scaling while maintaining quality?
Well, today it's a huge issue. Things are upwards in cost. We did not raise our price this year, and I don't know that we're going to raise it a lot next year. We're going to have to go up a little bit because
Inflation.
things have
Yeah.
definitely increased. I think to maintain what we do is a constant challenge and things that are so basic and easy. Back in the days that I started in the kitchen, green peppers and carrots and um, cabbage and lettuce and uh, you could buy a case of lettuce for $1.10. It's
Not possible
24
nowadays.
heads of lettuce. 24 heads of lettuce.
Jesus.
Today, that 24 heads of lettuce is, 13.50, $15 or whatever it is. And those are examples. I have no idea if that's the cost or not. But um, you don't throw anything away that you don't have to throw away.
Yeah.
Obviously, the outer part of a head of lettuce, has dirt on it and all that. You throw that away. Once you get to the main head of lettuce, nothing gets thrown away because it's too expensive. Carrots, green peppers, whatever you think is the cheapest thing that you can come up with today is not cheap. And seasonings are just outrageously expensive today. But before it was just so maintaining what we do at the price that we do it and delivering a quality product is very difficult. And it is really what we spend the most time on because if we can't make a profit, obviously we don't exist. I mean, that's if you go to Harvard Business School, you're going to learn that maybe the day before you get there, because if you don't understand that you got to make money, you're not long for the business world. And a lot of businesses, and family businesses in particular, run on emotion that we're too high, we're too expensive, or our quality has gone down, or whatever it might be. My daughter and son, I have experienced, let them experience really good things so that they know what good is. And then I've taken them to some very bad places so that you know what bad is.
So
And
you
if
get a
you can stay
comparison,
in the
yeah.
middle of that,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
good. I mean,
yeah.
you got this and this, if you can get into the middle, you're doing good. And maintaining costs, maintaining your service level. It's the only thing that we can point to that makes a difference. There are 3,800 boat operators in the United States that represent about 6,000 boats. Although that's a very small percentage, let's say, compare it to restaurants, where there are thousands and thousands and thousands of restaurants. My point is this: we have to operate in a very focused and a very different world than restaurants. We are a restaurant, but we're a boat also. And all of that comes into it. And I think the industry is in good shape. I there's not a lot of failing boat rides, although you can go to Florida and get a boat every 5 seconds. This boat, a fishing boat, this, you know, sightseeing, whatever. In Cincinnati, we're the only place you can do what we do. So I'd like to think over all the years, we're doing pretty good. I mean, and compared to everything else out there, and believe me, the world's changing every second. I mean, it's not minutes, it's seconds.
Which actually gets us pretty good. Nice segue to the next question. Where do you still rely heavily on manual coordination or tribal knowledge?
That's a great question. I think people that lose sight of their goal. If you don't remember where you came from, I don't know how you turn that around to this is where we want to go. And I think that institutional knowledge is very, very important. Although in today's world, people are expecting a lot different stuff. And the knowledge that you had, I'm one of those guys that likes to go back to our roots when we get into trouble because we did a lot of good things back then, even though they were old style. The customers today are looking for experiences and they're looking for more than just a good steak or a good piece of chicken.
Yep.
They're looking for a full experience. Now, we try to get people to do that in different ways. Ones that like to dance, you could dance. The ones that like to sightsee, you can sightsee. But if you don't remember where you came from in today's world, it's hard. I like to think that we're orientating our new kids, our new customers to the older way. And my kids would like to make us newer so that the kids that come here are feeling better. It is a very difficult and I gotta believe, you know, I've got to believe when World War II stopped, our country changed in a big way.
Of course.
Yeah,
Absolutely
became
massive way.
industrialized, and I think we're on the cusp of a huge AI
Oh,
and
yes, we are.
technology challenge that is much more severe than World War II because World War II were just people that came back from the war and worked hard. And you could go to a steel mill or you could go to a coal mine or you could do all that work and make money. Today, this is all about technology. What can we do to make our customer in technology feel better? And we're putting up TVs. They'll be able to see the map of the river and all these new technological things that are beyond. Believe me, I'm not involved in that. That's my son and my daughter, and, they don't want me involved because 'cause I'd say, "Well, just throw that crap away." But they think it's important, and I think, believe me, I'm very much on board with technology and how it is growing in a enormously fast way. I mean, like I said, seconds. People are coming up with things that AI can do that were never thought of a few minutes ago, just never. And it's fascinating to me. Now, I'm not going to live long enough to see the real AI effect, but I think in 20 years, it's going to be dramatic. Look how fast AI has come in, I don't know, what, 10 years?
2 years.
2 years, okay. 2 years. Look how fast it has come, and it's doing everything now. You can ask AI about your, headache. "I have a headache. What do you suggest that I do?" And AI will come up with an answer. You can ask AI, "My car is broken. What do you think is wrong with my car?" Great. Well, Art, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you, and, I hope you have a great holiday, and we'll see you after the first of the year.
Sounds good. Well, have a fantastic New Year's. Have a
Okay.
wonderful Christmas, and we'll chat next year.
Well, thank you very much, and, we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Chat soon. Thank you. Bye bye.